think this fixation is on boob size. I mean, we're two women built very
Yeah.
differently, but I mean, it seems like such a stupid thing to get hung up on. So tell me about it from the other side of Victoria's Secrets. What's going on here?
I don't. I wish I knew. And because it's like I've been very fortunate that I have a lot of guys that I've dated. They're like, oh man, I love your boobs. They're perfect tens. I'm like, thanks. But I mean, it could be. This could be one of those effects that we talk about from seeing pop culture of very well endowed women, that men are conditioned to like larger boobs because that's what they see. It could just be one of those things that happens. I always get excited when I see a character drawn that isn't giant chest, but it doesn't offend me when I see it. It doesn't take away, like, Power Girl's big boobs don't bother me at all. I like her boob window. What can I say? And I think, if people want to have that voice heard, they should do more writing. When you write, that's your words out there. You're putting it out there. And it might just be on Tumblr. It might be for a news site. It might be for a blog. Get that out there. So at least somebody, and even if it doesn't impact a country, if it impacts one person, then you've made that change. For a good piece, a good journalistic piece, you rely on both. You get those studies, you get those facts, but then you get those anecdotes.
Yeah.
Because, and this is something that I'm working towards being better. And my way I approach journalism is I want to take these really, and I don't care if it's like a medical study about T cells or the latest, Apple Pen tech. I want to take that information, break it down so my mom can understand it.
Right.
And I think there's something to be said about, and in conversations about race, religion, sex, sexuality, take those lofty ideals, but break them down to their essence, and then talk about those little bits, and then put it all together at the end and see what you can create. I used to really be into cosplay. That was kind of my shtick for a while. And I find I get called upon to write stories about cosplayers and sexuality a lot. And I feel like it's all, and people are always asking about, like, well, what was she wearing and how did that affect the story? And I'm kind of like, but wait, the actual story here is kind of like how people are treated. Like, let me actually just pull a real world example. Last Comic-Con, there was a very unfortunate incident where a girl was taken to the hospital. She was found beaten, bloody, and there was talk that she was wearing a revealing costume. And people, of course, wanted to talk more about, like, well, obviously she was dressed like that. But the real story is that she was underage and kind of doing things she shouldn't with someone that she shouldn't. And, like, to me, the story there is, like, let's talk about how convention culture kind of, I don't want to say encourages, but almost forgives a certain level of openness to underage drinking, drug use, and big diversity of men sleeping with younger women. To me, that was the story, and all the outlet wanted me to do was talk about, like, well, no, she was wearing this, so she asked for it. And I'm like, well, that might be part of the story that she was dressed revealing. There's a bigger story here. We really need to tackle, like, it's okay to understand your sexuality. We're so repressed in so many ways here, and that, the fact that we even need to create safe places for kids to express their sexuality is foreign to me, because my mother was like, hey, we're going to have this talk at a young age. I know you're going to want to have sex. This is how you're safe about it. Just, be safe. Look out for these issues of people who might take advantage of you. And it didn't, that being said, it didn't stop me from being raped by a classmate, but that sort of shit just kind of happens, you can't predict that. But it did help me understand who I was at a lot younger age, that I didn't have to go out and kind of put myself in bad situations to find who I was.